Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see this time we are going to check fresh release from Eduard. That's another limited edition which was presented on E-Day. It is molded in 1/48 scale as it's written here, and as you can see it is named as a Bedna. It copies MiG-23 in Czechoslovak Air Forces, and I think it might be interesting both for international and Czech modelers because it lets you replicate quite unusual markings in 1/48 scale. This is not an Eduard plastic, and that's why it is a limited edition. It won't be reissued, so if you want to get one, you should buy it immediately because it's a quite limited amount available. As you can see, box is quite big. Here you can see comparison with my hand, and we have this interesting box art on the front with the most famous markings for this aircraft. But let me remind you first that we are gathering money for the new camera. You can help us too by pressing the donate button on our website. It is easy and it is safe because it's done via PayPal, and of course you decide the amount we'll get from you. As you can see, box is quite heavy and thick. Here you can see all marking options which are included into this kit. As you can see, there are 8 of them, and even those which were shown on the box art are included, even though I don't see the tiger one, this one. I'm not sure why. From the other side we have also a short list of the features. So as you can see, it's trumpeter plastic with Eduard plastic parts which will help you copy MiG-23 MF and ML. There are also some Resin parts. There are cartograph decals for 13 marking options. Here you can see also 5 more, and here is this tiger version. And then we have 128 pages photo book about MiG-23 in Czechoslovak and Czech Air Force service. Maybe that's why box is that heavy. Now I'm going to open it and we will check what is inside. Of course, that's a box with top open, let's say, cover. And as you can see, all frames, all those trumpeter frames are packed into the separate plastic bag, while plastic sprues from Eduard come on the bottom. Here we have various armament. Resin parts are also packed into the separate plastic bag, but we are going to start with plastic for MiG-23 from trumpeter. Why? Because we didn't check this kit before. That's why it should be interesting to see how it is molded. Maybe some of you already assembled it, but it's always interesting to see if there are some changes in the original plastic, right? So, as far as I can see, each frame is also secured into the separate plastic bag. So now I'm going to remove those frames and we'll check everything closer. Okay, so we are going to start with smaller parts, but first I need scissors. So just give me a second, because here we are going to start with the nose section. And as you can see, each bag is sealed, so I will have to cut through them in order to get them open. Okay, first one goes here. And as I said, here we have nose part. Here's the first one. I'll zoom in so that you can see it closer. Okay. And then there is the second one. I guess those 2 parts let you replicate different versions of the MiG. Just give me a sec. So here they are. Difference in shape is quite noticeable, I would say, and I'm really happy to see that they're molded as a one-piece part, so you won't have to join any separate hulls, you won't have to solve, let's say, obvious seams. You just install those parts in place and you are good to go. Then we have separately molded air intakes. Note that external section of those air intakes is molded on the separate frame. Here it is. Again, really good molding quality. And as you can see, attachment points are placed right on the edge so that you won't damage the part. Okay, so next we have this nice plastic bag with foam inside. I'm not sure what is here, so just give me a second to open it. Of course, here we have transparent plastic part, so foam is used in order to avoid possible scratches. Here you can see the part itself. That's the main section of the canopy. Of course, you will be able to replicate the open canopy on your aircraft, so no worries. Next we have exhaust nozzles. As far as I can see, there are no resin parts included into this kit, so you will have to use those original plastic offerings. Here they are. Or you will have to buy resin. As far as I remember, Eduard will release, let's say, actual release resin replacement, but it will be sold separately, so it will be up to you if you would like to spend money on the additional resin, or you are good with what you get in original version, let's say. Then here we have another clear plastic sprue. This one is obviously dedicated to transparent elements. And as you can see here, we have the frontal section of the canopy and also some clear elements for the aircraft. Molding quality looks good. The only thing I'm not sure if masks are included, but that's a limited edition from Eduard, so I suppose they should be. We will see it further in the video review. Now I'm opening the first big plastic sprue, and as you can guess, here we have frames for fuselage, parts for the fuselage. There are two fuselage halves, and actually kit contains two types of fuselage halves, so that you can replicate both versions of the aircraft that you remember. Here you can see the first pair, and they look quite good, I would say. They are huge in size, so be ready to work with them, but as you can see, external detailing looks fine, and I think with careful assembly you will be able to get a really nice result. But note that many elements are molded separately. For example, here we have air brake, which will have to be placed into the necessary spot, and here inside you can see that we also have position pins, which should help you with alignment of those huge parts together. Next we have another plastic sprue and another pair of fuselage halves. So just give me a second. Actually, as I said in the previous video reviews, I'm still not sure why some manufacturers still use sealed plastic bags. Yeah, it shows that kit wasn't open, but from the other side you have to cut through all those plastic bags in order to get necessary parts. And it's not bad for video reviews, it's bad also for our hobby, because it just takes some time. Here we have another fuselage half. Again, note that nose section has this special recessed line, which will help you with alignment of the nose part. Also here, of course, we will have to install air intakes. Here we have separately molded air brakes. And also this is a cockpit base as far as you can see. I'll zoom in so that you can see it closer. Okay. And the same design for fuselage halves as what we saw before. So as you can see, we have position pins, and I think it will be easy to combine these two halves together. I know that some modelers claim that this is not like the best MiG-23 kit. Well, I can argue with this because I don't see any possible alternatives for this plastic. And once assembled, it looks quite good. Unless you go in with various drawings and start to measure various stuff. So here you can see also parts for the tail section. Note that tail fin should be assembled out of 2 halves. That's quite unusual. Moreover, rudder is molded in, so it's not molded separately. Here we have also some parts for the landing gear system. That's the dashboard. Of course, dashboard won't be used in this kit, so you can throw it directly into your spare parts because it will be replaced with P analog from Eduard. Now I'm opening another plastic bag. Here we have quite interesting, let's say, section. Why? Because that's a top wing cover as well as those special parts which should ensure, let's say, possible movement of wings on this aircraft. I'm not sure if some modelers will actually replicate this feature, but it's nice to have this included into the box. I mean, we always love to play with some things, right? Then here we have another plastic frame. This one is also busy with various parts. And here modeler will find more of internal components. As you can see, we have parts for the main wheel wells. Also we have several nozzles for the engine, front wheel well, also dashboard panel combing, also some parts for the pilot seat, side panels for the cockpit, and the cockpit main base. Everything looks quite nice, but of course all those cockpit parts will have to be improved with PE, and it will require due care because PE parts demand sending all molded in elements on the side panels of the cockpit, also on the dashboard, so be careful with this and try dry fitting before gluing PE parts in place. Here we have belly panel. As far as you can see, attachment points are quite thin enough. Here we have also separately molded air brakes. Let's flip it over. As you can see, we have also the special slots for installation of these moving mechanisms, which will help you align wings together. And note that these air brakes, they have detailing inside, which looks quite nice. And I think you can bring out details with washing applied. Then we have wings. Wings come on several plastic frames. Actually, there are 2 plastic frames. And the most noticeable element here is this special system, which will be used in order to ensure the movement of these parts. As you can see, molding quality looks to be fine. Here we have also some parts for the landing gear system. That's, for example, wheels cover for the nose, leg. Inside wing parts we have position pins. So those 2 large parts will be easy to align together and you shouldn't be worried about possible problems. Then here we have such interesting packaging. Again, a bit of foam applied, and I guess it is used in order to secure some really tender element. And we are going to check it in a second. So here we have landing gear legs, as you can see. They're secured with foam, so no worries, they won't be broken. And as you can see here, we have also parts for the tail section. This one is used for the different version. Again, inside we have position pins, so it will be easy to align them together. And last but not the least is another gray plastic sprue. Well, it's gray plastic sprue from Trumpeter kit, because gray plastic sprues are not over. There is also a set of Eduard parts, but here you can see that we have landing gear wheels as well as wings and also tail wings. Now I'm going to open the plastic bag with Eduard parts. As far as you can see, it's not limited to the external equipment. Actually, we also have minor elements for detailing this external equipment, so just give me a second. Okay, obviously Eduard plastic is different with color of the plastic. So here you can see all minor elements which will be used for the external equipment. As you can see, molding quality is quite fine. I can zoom in so that you can see those parts closer. They look nice, but of course they will require careful application because otherwise you might damage or lose them. Then we have two absolutely identical plastic frames. I will show you only one because there is no point to show them both. They carry similar subset of the parts, and let's zoom out. So as you can see, we have here various fuel tanks, missiles, and also bombs in the middle. All those are molded in 1/48 scale, and all those can be replaced with original Resin offering from Eduard. So if you would like to get a better detailing, try to find a Resin replacement for those parts. Nevertheless, this kit also includes those Resin parts which are packed into the separate plastic bag. Why I'm mentioning this? Because here we also get missiles. As you can see, these are quite huge ones. And then we have various minor components which should be used for detailing. Here we have pods or pylons. These pylons will be used as well. And then we have more various external components which will have to be applied on this missile. Let's zoom out a bit so that you can see whole picture. And here is another minor element. So it's basically set for those huge missiles to be replicated in 1/48 scale. As for the cockpit, we get the Resin pilot seat, which is also quite nice, because as you remember, the original offering is not that detailed, and here we have parts for the cockpit. Pilot seat looks really good. It is molded as a one-piece part, and then here we have separately molded headrest. As you can see, there is no helmet as it was with MiG-21 set. Nevertheless, I think it's not that huge loss. Then we have masks, which are packed into the separate plastic bag. These are typical pre-cut stickers. I mean, typical for Eduard, so they should be handy during assembly process. And then we have two plastic bags with 4 PE threads, and just give me a second to remove them. Okay, so here we have the first one. So as you can see here, we have seat belts and also parts for R-23 missile. Here you can see it. This one is for the missile, these ones are obviously seat belts. Now, these are typical Eduard products, so I guess there won't be any issue with them. And then we have, as I said, 2 more plastic frames or PE threads. These ones include this pre-painted thread. Then we have this transparent film for the target side, as far as I can guess. And then we have also this let's say traditional golden colored PE thread, which will be obviously used for external elements. As you can see, some of them are really tiny. Here you can see comparison with my hand, so be careful while using them, while applying them, because it will be easy to lose these parts, and then you are left without any spares, and you'll have to solve the situation somehow. Next we have this nice and interesting book. It is quite huge, it is quite heavy, even though it's more than 100 pages. Still, it is soft cover which weighs a lot. So if you are going to order this kit, I would rather ask seller to pack it carefully, because otherwise you might end up with, let's say, damaged kit. Why? Because this huge book is not fixed in place and it will be flying around the box easily. So be aware of this thing, let's say. So here it is. As I said, it's a soft cover. Oops, sorry. And then inside we have quite extensive story about MiG-23 in Czechoslovak and Czech Air Forces. It is quite typical publication for Eduard, I would say. Those who bought some limited editions before, they will be familiar with this layout and style of the book. As you can see, there are many photos of the real aircraft, and I think it will be handy for weathering ideas on your build. And as you can see, in total there are 128 pages inside. It's quite big for 128, surprisingly. And then we have also assembly manual, which looks the same due to this, let's say, usage of the box art. Here we have typical Eduard instructions. Note that out of all those plastic sprues supplied by Eduard, we will use only several parts. All other parts will be used for your spare box. Assembly process starts with pilot seat, then we continue with cockpit base. We install air intakes into the fuselage half. We also assemble the wing assembly, wing mechanisms. We install this top cover. Also the tail section, landing gear wheels. Then we have here the nose cone, and we assemble external equipment. Note that masks will be used also for wheels, because here we don't have resin wheels, so you will have to use original plastic offering. Then here we have paints chart as well as there. Here we have marking guide. This one is MiG-23 MF from Lugovoy, Soviet Union 1978. This one is from Žatec, Czechoslovakia 1984. That's an aircraft from Czech and Slovak Federative Republic in České Budějovice 1992. This one is from České Budějovice as well, and it's also 1992. This one is 1994 and České Budějovice as well. This one is from 1991, the same city. This one is also 1991. Then here we have 1994, 1995 and 1996. This one is from Chaslov, by the way. This one as well is from Chaslov 1996. This one comes from the same airbase but from 1997. This one is also 1997. Here we have 1994 from České Budějovice. As you can see, it has this quite unusual tiger marking. Then we have stenciling positions for external equipment, stenciling position guide for aircraft. As you can see, there are separate guides for various versions, of course. And in total, there are 36 pages in assembly manual. Quite an extensive, I would say, read. But that's not all, because we also have huge decals sheets. Here is the first one. All three, as far as you can see, are printed in cartograph. So here we have the first one. As you can see, we have clear segmentation so that you can use only the symbols you need. For example, here we would like to copy this boudoir version with beer on the aircraft, so you just cut this section and you use only those symbols. Nevertheless, here we have also decals for the cockpit. This should be handy for those modelers who don't like to use PE parts on their models. You will be surprised, but there are quite many modelers who are actually doing it and just placing PE parts aside and using those decals. Then here we have, I was a bit confused because it was printed, as you can see, in light gray. Now here we have decals for the tiger marking option, which is shown on the box art. Again, printing quality is nice. Again, it is printed, actually it is printed in Eduard. That's quite surprising, I would say. Only this decal sheet is printed in Eduard. And then we have also large stencils decal sheet, which is printed in cartograph. Here it is. And note that with stencils again, we get a segmentation. So this section is useful for MF. This one is for MF overhaul, again MF. And here we have ML version of the aircraft. I can zoom in so that you can see these designations. They are clear and really difficult to miss. So I think it will be quite understandable what you have to use for your particular build. So that's all for this video review. As you can see, it is quite a long video review because this kit is really full of various goodies, and as I said, you can buy even more from the same manufacturer. I can also show you this nice bonus. We reviewed it on our YouTube channel. This is a ladder for MiG-23. It is released by Plus Model. It's already available. We have the review of it, and it might be a handy supply for this huge aircraft. But I will be happy to hear your opinion about this kit here in the comment section below. Write it there. We will discuss together what do you think about this kit. Of course, if you like this video and you would like to support us, press the like button, donate on our website, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and like our Facebook group. All those actions will help us greatly. And of course, I will see you in the next video review as usual. Bye.